Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 20 of your weekly News Just News Roundup. Crazy, we've hit episode 20. What a milestone. And thank you to everyone who's been watching so far. I'm going to be your host today, and I'm joined here with Lucia. Hi, Lucia.
Hello, everybody.
And with Adam.
Hello, hello, hello.
And we've got a lot to talk about today, a lot of varied topics, and yeah, let's just get started right off the bat. We're going to be starting with Euphoria. The season 3 trailer was dropped a few days ago, and it's a very exciting moment for fans because it's taken almost 4 years for season 3 to come. This will be the final season of Euphoria, and it's going to be a different one because it's going from high school to young adulthood. So it's going to be interesting, and the trailer is very interesting, so go check that out. There's a lot of drug heists, wedding sequences, crazy stuff all around. I think it's going to be an entertaining one. But most notably was the appearance of Eric Dane. And it's unfortunately, he passed away in early February this year. So this will be his last project and performance. So it's a very heartfelt moment for fans, allowing closure, but also a celebration of his career and everything he's done. An incredible actor, obviously known for Euphoria, but also he played Jason Dean on Charmed, Dr. Mark Sloan on Grey's Anatomy. He's had such an incredible career. And in the trailer, he's seen for about 3 seconds, and it's quite a reflective moment, which goes a lot into his character. I won't give any spoilers in case you haven't watched it yet, but he's joined alongside the character Jules. And yeah, I think that's going to be one of the most significant parts of this season, is really getting into his character. He plays Carl Jacobs, the infamous family man, Nate's father. He has a lot of secrets with his identity and repression, and he has a very complicated character. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there, but also mainly just to celebrate his legacy and again bring that closure for fans of Euphoria and his acting career alike. So, Lucia, are you a fan of Euphoria? Have you watched it?
I've watched season 1, but I remember it as if it was something that I watched 20 years ago because it was so long ago. I remember enjoying it and thinking that it was kind of like different from the usual teen drama because it was very out there, very explicit, especially, like with the drug scenes. Those were like really heavy storylines. But then I must admit I didn't continue with season 2. It was one of those things where I enjoyed it, but not as much as I would have loved to. And so I'm not sure where the story is up to now, but I did see that obviously now that's kind of like a, flash forward, kind of like a jump in the story. So we see them not in high school anymore, but they're kind of like in their early 20s. And it's going to be interesting. I might, just watch season 2 because then I can watch season 3.
Amazing. Adam, what about you?
Yeah, well, I haven't seen it, but I mean, as Lucia was saying, I think the time jump will be very interesting to see how they deal with it, because I feel like one of the big, almost criticisms of Euphoria was very much that these were teens, but it was ramped up to an adult level. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how they run with that and whether, I don't know, almost they keep that edginess to it now that obviously they're not teens.
Yeah, and it's quite a bold move as well. I mean, it can go really well or not so well. I mean, an example is One Tree Hill. They went almost, it was like 3 years showing their characters as they were in adulthood, and that went really well. But in other series, it hasn't gone so well. So we'll see what happens there. But moving on, we're going to be talking about something really exciting, and this is Dua Lipa, and she's going to be at London's Literature Festival, if I'm not mistaken, hosting it. Lucia, why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Dua Lipa has been announced as the curator for the London Literature Festival at the South Bank Centre, which is, one of the biggest and most important art centers in the UK. And this is very exciting news because obviously Dua Lipa is famous as, huge mega pop star, but she has been quite a big voice in literature in the last couple of years because she is, an advocate for reading. She's always been very open about how literature is important for her and her passion for books and, stories. And it's I would say, a very interesting choice for them to, ask Dua Lipa to do the curation of this festival. The festival is going to take place between October 21st and November the 1st this year. We don't have the full lineup yet of all of the guests and, the event, but they will be announced during the summer. And for the time being, we know that she will be hosting and curating quite a large amount of events during the first weekend of the festival. And then she's going to do a little bit more towards the end as well. And this is, very important and really, I would say, nice news because for once we have kind of like a figure that like puts together music, but also reading, and it's a very fresh voice. And obviously she, I feel like she knows what she's doing and she knows what she's gonna be talking about. She has a book club that's very famous, and it's called Service 95. And she's been, promoting that book club on Instagram, and she's been very open about it. And she said that she wanted to do a podcast with it as well, which she did. So if you go on Spotify, you'll see it. And basically in the bio, I feel like this is quite an interesting thing. In the bio of the podcast on Spotify, it says that the book that she will choose for a certain month, it's a completely random book that she will want to read. So it's not, a new release or anything that it's like hot during a certain time. It's just, if she wakes up tomorrow and she wants to read a book from 10 years ago, she'll do that. And I think that's a very fresh take. And she has hosted the podcast for a couple of years now. She's had a lot of guests on it. Established writers, for example, like Roxane Gay or, Margaret Atwood, but also lots of emerging voices and a new generation of authors, which I think it's like really interesting and cool. And she has said that this is a dream come true for her and that she really can't wait to do it. And I feel like it's going to be a very interesting initiative. And I'm really happy that she got chosen for, this project specifically.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see, obviously she's known for her pop music and performance, but something lesser known is her passion for literature. So that's going to be really exciting to see. Adam, have you followed her podcast or any of her passion for books that she's been posting?
Well, I've certainly seen a few of her interviews that she does for the podcast, and I think it's just refreshing is the way I would describe the interviews. She's such a good interviewer, and you can tell she understands the book, she's read the book, she understands the person and the context behind that book. Because I feel like with a lot of these celebrity endorsements and, when celebrities do kind of try and do a side thing, sometimes it can just be a bit of a cash grab. So I think this is so interesting because she really does, she understands it and she does love it. So I think with some of them as well, the previous, you kind of get the direction that they're probably going to go in. Whereas like with this one, I think it's going to be incredible to see who she picks and what direction she goes, because there just isn't, we just don't know. So I think we'll definitely have to keep an eye on this and see who she picks.
Absolutely. And I'm sure Lucia will be writing more about it. So remember to check that out on our website, newsjustnews.com. And we're going to segue to something completely different from novels and literature, which is a crazy, crazy thing that's been happening online right now. We have a new show, AI-generated show on TikTok, and it's Love Island fruit version. It's gone completely viral, and it essentially follows the same basis as the usual Love Island shows, except these are animated characters of fruits. So there's like Strawberryna and Watermelina and all these characters. And what an odd concept that has been so incredibly successful. The account that's posted it is called AI Cinema, and it's they've gotten over 3 million followers now, and that was over the course of like 3 days. So it broke records for being one of the most followed accounts in such a short amount of time. It really goes to show kind of what TikTok uses and what people are looking for nowadays. It's interesting, but it's also a bit sad. A lot of people have different opinions about it, and all the episodes are like 1 minute each. So again, points to this generation's attention spans. But hey, it's been highly successful. Each episode has about 22 billion views, which is bizarre. It's not like the production is incredibly impressive, but people are loving it. Adam, I know you know a bit about this. What do you think about this whole thing?
Yeah, well, I didn't even know it was particularly viral, and obviously it just came on my feed, and I did get hooked. I'm not gonna lie. Usually I don't watch these things, but I did watch it all the way through, which I don't know if that says a lot about me. But I also think it's interesting, especially with this, because I feel like I don't know about you guys, but I miss viral videos, like 2000s viral videos when it was, I guess like Annoying Orange. Maybe the internet just loves fruits. But I do miss that kind of viral video that we had back in the day where it's like it could hit 1 million views and then everyone knew about it. Whereas I feel like nowadays so many things just go viral. So then, what I mean? It's that tale as old as time. When everything's viral, nothing's viral. Whereas this, I think, has sort of blasted through. So I think it's definitely an interesting choice of thing that has come through. But hey, I mean, I watch it, I consume it, so I can't really say that much.
Yeah, I will embarrassingly say I also got hooked. And again, Adam, like you said, I don't know what that says about me, but I remember we were talking about this before filming this episode, and Lucia said, "I am the first in my bloodline to read this headline." We've talked a lot about AI slop in our past podcast. Lucia, what do you think?
So I'm not on TikTok, so I haven't seen this specifically, and that's why when you sent us the article, I was so baffled about it. But I will say that I agree with what Adam was saying. And when you said about the orange, you opened the window in my brain that was closed for like years and years. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of content that used to be so popular that it was like the early days. I wouldn't say maybe like the early days of the internet, but the early days of memes and stuff. And a big role of this was played by Vine when Vine was still a thing, and it was like so iconic. And then it just got shut down. And I feel since then we did have memes, but so many memes now are just like there's so many, and sometimes you don't even I don't know, I feel old and I don't understand them. And it's like you were saying, when everything is viral, everything will be viral. So it's kind of difficult to have something that will have that many views and at the same time like have the essence of a true meme that doesn't really mean anything, but it's just funny. And I think maybe people want to see more of that. And obviously Love Island is already popular by itself, so like a fruit version of it, I don't know, maybe people got hooked because it's something a little bit different from what we used to see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, maybe this is the new form of entertainment for our younger viewers, my generation. I don't know how I feel about it specifically. It's interesting, and I think we'll see what happens in the future. Maybe this is the next big thing, or maybe it's going to kind of leave our minds again, like we had with that little orange man back in the 2000s. So we will see about that. But on another note, there's been some crazy things happening with KitKat. We had almost 400,000 stolen KitKat bars in Europe. And Adam is going to tell us about that because I am just completely baffled. Please enlighten us.
I know. Well, I mean, from fruit onto chocolate now, so we're getting a little bit unhealthy. Yeah, so 400,000 bars of KitKats have been stolen from a truck that was going from Italy to Poland. Obviously, this came out, I think, yesterday, so then everyone just thought it was an April Fool's joke, which makes it all the funnier. But no, Nestle had to be like, this is serious, guys. There's also a website where you can track whether you have a stolen KitKat, which is just really funny. But I mean, these aren't just normal KitKats; they are Formula One branded, so like special edition. And obviously, I feel like everything people love a collector's item, especially nowadays. You know, Pokemon cards have gone up, haven't they? So I feel like people are just trying to make a quick buck with these stolen KitKats. But I don't know how, if they're going to be how many they're going to be able to sell, because the price of chocolate is so expensive nowadays. I don't know if you've seen this with like Easter eggs and everything. You used to be able to get a mug with your Easter egg, and now it's just a little tiny chocolate bar. So maybe I wish this was an April Fool's.
Yeah, it really is. It is quite bizarre, and I'm not too sure how someone could have pulled that off. Stealing that many KitKat bars. I don't know, guys. We'll see. I personally hope that they find it. But we'll see what happens with that. But Adam was saying a lot of people thought that this was an April Fool's joke. Even Ryanair, they made like an AI-generated video of they plane filled with all these KitKat bars, and it's just KitKat was like, actually, no, this is serious. Please help us. Let's hope KitKat gets their bars back. But yeah, again, people thought it was a joke. So we're going to be talking about April Fools, which was yesterday. Crazy. We've had, we look forward to it every year, and a lot of brands can either do really well or can flop. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that a bit. Adam, why don't you get us started? Have you seen anything interesting coming out this April Fool's?
I think mostly just the KitKat things, because sometimes, I mean, as you were saying, sometimes they work and sometimes they flop. I think someone needs to tell marketing departments you can't just say that you're going to cancel something. What was it, like the Duolingo bird died last year or something, and then suddenly every brand's mascot died. I think you can do a good April Fool's, and then I think sometimes it can just be a bit of a corporate flop, and when all the other brands join in on it, it can get stale so quickly. And I think it's also one of them where we're talking about brands and companies, but no one does like a personal prank really anymore. I don't know if you guys have. I certainly haven't, and someone posted a picture of them bald on Instagram and was like, oh, I've shaved my hair off, but that was the only thing I've seen so far this year.
Yeah, I think that was a great essence of April Fool's, doing it on a personal level. And I agree with you, Adam. I think it's become quite a corporate thing. And again, it can also go downhill. We've had a lot of examples of brands really not doing well with April Fool's jokes. I mean, Google, I think back in 2016, they had the mic drop thing with the minion at the end of the emails, and a lot of people were upset and they had to issue a public apology. But this year, I don't know if I've seen anything too striking. I saw Dyson, they did one as an air wrap for pets, which was really cool. You got to see like horses and dogs with these full blowouts. Lucia, what have you seen recently?
I haven't seen much, I have to say. It feels like this year it was a lot calmer compared to the last few years. And also feel like because, as Adam was saying, is now such a kind of like a higher level corporate thing, I feel like it's very difficult to actually have people believe into something. And that's why the KitKat one was like so out of place, because it could have been an April Fool's, but it was actually true. And because we get to that day and we know that there's going to be announcements that are going to be fake and they're going to be, not real, then we just see it and we're there like, oh yeah, right. And we just don't, already assume that it's not going to be something that we believe in. So it kind of lost a little bit that kind of like, yeah, sense of fun. Sometimes they are good, as in like, they are good for a laugh, but you would never believe them anyway. So I have to say I haven't seen much this year, no.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's been a bit tame this year, but at least we haven't had any lawsuits that I know of. But yeah, I think that's a great place to end it off. And yeah, I think this is a special episode, 20th episode, and it's been such an honor working with you guys and doing these podcasts. And thank you for everyone watching them. It's been really fun for us, and I hope you've been enjoying it too. Here's another reminder that all the stories we've talked about today are available on our News Just News website. Lucia, Adam, and myself were writers there, and we have so many stories that are not just about Love, Fruit Island, and AI and April Fools. We've got international sports, everything. So it's something there will get your interest. So check it out. And thank you so much for joining us for episode 20 of your News is News weekly roundup. And we'll see you next week. Thank you, everyone.
See you next week.
Bye.